Hi everyone, my name is Haley and I'm going to show you guys how to make a cloud in a jar and explain the importance of clouds in relation to the earth. Here's a little preview of the end result so you guys can get excited for this project. Clouds are an important part of the water cycle and they help to regulate Earth's energy balance. When clouds get heavy enough with water, it rains, and without clouds we would not have rain. Here's a picture of materials used for this project. You will need a mason jar with a lid or any glass jar with a lid, a measuring cup, a can of aerosol hairspray, and 3 to 7 ice cubes. If your fridge makes ice, that's great, but if you're like me and don't have an ice maker, then you can make your own. I will show you how to make ice in the next slide. So you just take your ice tray and fill it up with water. And then you take your ice tray and put it in the freezer. Now if you don't have an ice machine or an ice tray, you can fill up a Ziploc bag with a little bit of water and place it in the freezer. If you're making your own ice, wait 3 to 4 hours for the water to freeze. Then you have your ice cubes. Next, we're going to get the hot water from the sink, turn it on all the way so it can get hot, let it run until you see a little bit of steam. Now you want to be careful for this step because the water is hot, but we're going to measure out a cup of water. Take your mason jar and take off the lid. Flip it upside down, make sure the lid is upside down. Now we're going to take the ice cubes and put them on top of the mason jar lid that's upside down. Next, we're going to be super careful with this step. You're going to take your measured cup of hot water and pour it into the mason jar, filling it up about halfway. Next, you're going to take the lid with the ice and place it on top of the mason jar like this and wait about 1 minute. For this step, you'll have to be quick. Take your hairspray and take the lid off the mason jar slightly and spray a little bit of hairspray into the mason jar. Quickly put the lid back on. You'll start to see clouds form almost instantly. Let this sit for about 40 seconds to a minute. Alright, so now we've waited for a little bit. And taking off the lid, you can see some clouds coming out. It's pretty cool. Let's pause the video and think about this question. Why did we put ice on top of the container and warm water on the bottom of the container? During this project, we made a mini simulation of Earth's natural atmosphere. Close to the Earth is warm, and the higher you go in the atmosphere, the colder it gets. The warm water represents the Earth, and the ice represents the higher atmosphere. When simulating the Earth's atmosphere, we are also simulating the water cycle. Clouds play a very important role in this cycle. The water cycle explains the never-ending movement of water within the Earth and its atmosphere. During this cycle, liquid evaporates from bodies of water and turns into water vapor. The water vapor condenses to form clouds. When the atmosphere goes up higher, the colder it gets, and this can cause the water to go out of the gas phase and turn back into a liquid. Depending on how cold it is, the water can turn into rain or snow and fall back down to the earth and drain from the land back into bodies of water. Here are the 4 main phases of the water cycle. First, we have evaporation. This happens when liquid turns into a gas, for example, when water turns into clouds. Condensation happens when gas changes into liquid. This would explain how regular clouds turn into rain clouds. Precipitation occurs when liquid falls from clouds, for example, when it rains or snows. And then percolation is a process when liquid hits the ground and drains back into the body of water. Now take a minute to pause the video. Think about what you have just learned in the water cycle. How do you think clouds are made? Cloud formation happens during the condensation phase of the water cycle. Clouds are formed when water vapor is condensed into liquid water or cloud droplets. After learning about how clouds are made, let's think back to the experiment. Why did we use hairspray to make a cloud in a jar? We used hairspray to mimic air particles that are in the Earth's natural atmosphere. These air particles allow water to condense on them, and they all come together to form clouds. The air particles are essential to clouds, and we call these seeds. This picture shows how clouds are formed. The little blue dots represent the water vapor, and the little stars are the air particles. When the water vapor attaches to air particles, clouds are formed. Condensation happens all around us. For example, let's look at a cold glass of water. You can see the water particles sticking to the glass. This is similar to how water vapor sticks to air particles to form clouds. Clouds are essential to life on Earth, and without them we would not have rain. Without rain, the Earth would be dry and most of the plants would die. Clouds also give beauty and aesthetic to the sky. One of my favorite things to do as a kid, and even now, is to lay down and look at the clouds and see what shapes they make. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you had fun and learned something along the way. Next time you're outside, be sure to look up at the sky and appreciate the clouds.